Hello, my name is Frank Ramirez, and I am the Director of Student Services at Porterville College, which is why my background here, right here. That's why I have my background here because this is where I work at. Was invited here by United We Lead for the Spark conversations. Really thank you for this opportunity, the Spark Talks. Uh, I really like to be part of these types of activities because it helps me to reconnect and to help students. So I really appreciate the invitation to be part of this event. Like I said, my name again is Frank Ramirez. I'm Director of Student Services at Porterville College. When people ask me what I do for a living, I tell them I help people access a higher education. At Porterville College, we have degrees in, AA degrees that could help you get some sort of employment. We have certificate programs. We have programs just to help advance you in your job that you're in. You might be working in an office and need more office skills, or to grow your office skills. So we have those programs as well. And then plus we have transfer programs to help students move on to a 4-year degree or beyond. Working for a community college has always been my goal because it's a place where you could help so many people reach their educational goals. And that's basically my whole mission, is to help people get educated and help people reach their goals to just to advance themselves in life. One thing that I've learned in life is that education is going to be your key to advancing to whatever level you want to be at. It could not only help you, it could help your family. Myself being considered a first generation college graduate, nobody in my family went to college. And actually, I'm the first to graduate from high school because my brother, my mom, and dad, none of them have ever graduated from high school. So by graduating high school, moving on to college, it really helped me to learn a lot and be able to help my mom, my brothers, be able to help my whole family, really. So not only are you not only can education open the doors for you, but it could also help your families or your loved ones and it doesn't mean by money. It could be by helping them navigate through a pandemic. Like right now, we're in a pandemic, and to get a vaccine, you need to have strong computer skills because everything is done through the internet. Well, my mother doesn't speak English. No, ella no habla inglés. No sabe cómo funciona una computadora. And so she depends on me to help her to have access to something that could help save her life. And so she was one of the first ones to get a vaccine because I was able to help her navigate through the online registration process. So, simple things like that. Because I contribute that to my education, I'm able to help her out in that way, and the same way I was able to help all my family to register to get a vaccine for COVID-19. And I don't think that there was nothing really special that I did, but just having that education about how to register, education about the community, right? Because of all my experience, and I've been blessed to have a lot of knowledge about community resources. So as soon as vaccines were released, it really I knew where to go, how to be able to access it, and so I was able to not only access it for myself but for my whole family. So I was able to get everybody, my parent, my mom, my dad's deceased. So my mom, my brothers, my of course, my wife and my immediate family, my in-laws, and I contribute a lot of that back to my education. So education has a lot of impact, not only to help you with your, having a good wage, a good sustainable wage, but also to be able to have knowledge, which nobody could ever take from you, because knowledge is power, and having more knowledge could help you help others around you and your loved ones. So that's a little bit about myself, and kind of fast forwarded a little bit, because I'm really excited about what education can do to somebody, which is again the reason why I'm in the field of work that I do, and I'm in the position where I'm at Porterville College. So some of the programs I oversee are programs like EOPNS, which is a program for first generation college students. Some people aren't sure about what first generation means, and basically on it, there's different people across the country have made the first generation a little different definition, but in general, it's as long as your mom or dad didn't complete a college degree in the United States. So EOPNS helps students that fall under that classification as a first generation college student to be able to get excuse me, to be able to receive additional services. And so those additional services could be extra tutoring, extra funding for books, extra counseling time. So all those extra services are important for students who's first generation to go on to college, because we don't have that at home, right? And I could be, when I went to college, people around me, had parents or people in their family who they could ask for guidance on going to college, like what should I major in? What type of jobs can I get with this degree? How hard is this major? And I went into college wanting to major in engineering, but I didn't realize that number one, you had to leave the area. I lived in Bakersfield. That's where I was born and raised. You had to leave the area to get a degree in engineering. And so, that was a big factor. I didn't want to really leave. So I ended up changing my major and went into a different degree path. But, on EOPNS really helps with a lot of that a lot of those extra services that first generation college students really need. So I encourage you to apply for EOPNS. If you're going to any community college, if you're going to a Cal State or a UC, they have similar programs called EOP. So that's one of the programs I oversee. I also oversee programs for parents coming back to school, such as CalWorks and CARE. Also, students with a disability, I also oversee those programs. And sometimes students think that a disability has to be something physical that you see. And it doesn't always have to be like that. Some people have a slight learning disability. Maybe on, reading doesn't come to you very, very clear. On maybe you're in your math class and the formulas aren't you're not understanding the formulas. So sometimes it could be that your mind is just just working a little bit more. I guess the mind is working at a little bit different speed than what the teacher's teaching, and so sometimes that could be classified as a minor learning impairment. And it could mean that you could get extra time in class. It could mean that you could receive extra time on a test. So little advantages to help you succeed in class. So I oversee all those different programs, and I really love my job because all the programs I oversee really help students that need that extra support to succeed in college. And I see it every day in all the programs that I oversee. So it's a great feeling to be working in a job that really connects you to everything that you've done in life. So, I kind of gave you a lot of stuff about who I am, but on the United We Lead, the the people who are hosting this program gave me some questions, so I'll kind of go in the order there, and I'll kind of touch on what I've already touched on, but I will go in the order that they mentioned. So a little bit about myself is that my parents came from Mexico. My mom is from Michoacan and my dad is from Jalisco. We They both were immigrants here to the United States. So they came here on, basically my dad was here first and then my mom came after. But the whole goal was it was going to be for a better opportunity, better life. Um, and that's a lot. That's a lot of the reason why so many people come to the United States, right? There's always that American dream, or the opportunity for more opportunities for your kids. So my parents really fall under that category. Um, so on I was born in Bakersfield, so right here in the Central Valley. Um, Born and raised, never left Bakersfield, still live in Bakersfield. Even though I work for Porterville, I commute to Porterville, but I've lived in Bakersfield my whole life. Went to East Bakersfield High School, so if there's any East High Blades in the house, give a little thumbs up if you're out there. On Yeah, the little thumbs up emoji. Uh, so I went to East Bakersfield High School, graduated from there. Um, I knew I wanted to go to college. I kind of knew that it was something that I really wanted to do. But I kind of did the right steps. I did what my counselors told me to, what my teachers told me to. Took the right classes. But nobody ever told me what college was like, because I didn't have nobody like that in my house, right? They didn't let me know that in college, you're not going to be reminded of assignments, or you're not going to be told to go to class or anything like that. So there was a lot of growth that happened at that point. But being a first generation college student really helps you to or there is a need to learn about those little details that become very important when you go to college. Right now in our program, that we have a number of students that we're doing mid-semester grade checks on, and some are getting some poor grades. But one of the main reasons that that we hear is they're not sure, or they get lost in the class and they're not sure how to communicate with the professor. So, and one key point of advice I could give is to make sure that you reach out to your professors when you go to college. Don't be afraid to talk to them, because part of their salary is they have office hours. So always keep that in mind, that they're getting paid to teach that class, and part of that salary that they're getting paid is to be in their office at a certain time to help you outside of the course time. So take advantage of that. I think that'd be one of the biggest pieces of information, of survival skills I could give you for college, is to utilize that office time. So I didn't know a lot of that. And I didn't really know where many colleges were at. So I did apply to a number of schools and got accepted. Applied to some UCs, like UC Santa Barbara, UC Irvine, and got accepted, but I didn't even know where those places were at, right? So, and never really had a chance to go visit. As you're thinking about what schools you want to go to, I encourage you to go visit. The great thing about college visits nowadays is that there's even campus tours in Spanish, right? So take your parents. I'm sure they'll love to see a school, even if it's something here in the Valley, like Fresno State or Cal State Bakersfield. Once this pandemic is over, it'd be great to go and take a look of what's there at that campus. I didn't know much about the schools that I was accepted to, other than Cal State Bakersfield. So I decided, hey, I just stayed local, went to Cal State Bakersfield. So I started off there, but then had some problems my first year, just academically, and so I had to go back to the community college to basically get my GPA up. It wasn't that I was that I didn't understand the material. It was just I didn't have those skills to survive in school, such as studying. I didn't realize that for every 1 hour in a college class, you should be reading and studying 3 hours outside of the class. So if the class was Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 10 to 12, to about 6 hours a week, I didn't realize that, I was supposed to invest probably like 12 to 18 hours outside of class. And you really feel it once you get those grades, and it comes out that it's not what you like, right? So went to BC, and really got a chance, Bakersfield College, and got a chance to really rediscover my academics there. Met some great people, and was able to get my GPA back up, and then go back to Cal State Bakersfield. So on I graduated from Cal State Bakersfield. My degree is in psychology with a minor in sociology. And great degree to choose. If you're not really sure what you want to do, but you want to work with people, and with the degree in psychology, you could really work in education, and in business, and in nonprofits, in immigration. I mean, you could do so much with this degree. It's a behavioral science degree. So if you're not sure what you want to major in, explore the psychology option. Not a lot of math, so that's always a plus, right? Because students always say, well, is there how much math do you need? And you only need like 2 classes of math to meet the requirement for the degree. So that was always a plus. But so I graduated from Cal State Bakersfield, degree in psychology, minor in sociology. I continued on to my master's degree, and got my master's in public administration. So as you see in my degree, it doesn't kind of match higher education, because most of the people I work with, they have degrees in counseling or in higher ed administration, master's in higher ed administration. So one point that I do want to highlight is really try to get a mentor as you're going through college, or even now as a high school student. And a mentor could be that person that is doing what you would like to do, and it could be as simple as somebody that's in college right now. And you as high school students are trying to figure out, what you want to do when you go to college. Maybe you want to get a degree, a BA, or maybe you want to get a certificate like a mechanic, or fire technology to be a firefighter, or child development to work in a child care center. They could help you kind of not just tell you about the job, but tell you about the steps to get there. And so on, I knew I wanted to work in higher ed, but I didn't know the steps to get there. So I got my degrees, and they're a little different from what most people in higher ed have. So it was a little different path I took to get a job in a community college, but I was fortunate to be able to get here, and so with my experience and everything I did. So, but I do recommend to get a mentor to help you through this journey that you're going on. So I graduated with my master's in public administration from Cal State Bakersfield. The next question was, what diversified me? So I think that, or what makes me who I am. So I mentioned that my passion is education, but also, being a first generation college student, that's also something that defined who I am, because I'm able to really connect with the students that I work with. I know what they're going through. When I see these progress reports with students that have, grades that are not as, DF grades, it's not, I'm not really one to judge right away, because I know that there's some reasons for those grades. Maybe it might be that they're working a lot while they're going to school. Always keep in mind that working over 20 hours a week while a college student can impact your GPA. So, and we don't realize that until, you're working and you're doing okay, then you get your final grade at the end of the semester, and it's not what you would like. And so, really try to limit the work, because your main focus should be on your schooling. So being a first generation college student, coming from a Spanish speaking household, I love working with the migrant population, with migrant programs. That's been a lot of my experience has been with universities, and working at universities and nonprofits, but it always was connected to helping populations of the Spanish-speaking community. So programs like migrant education were always something that I loved working with, and I could do through the jobs that I had. So working with the Spanish-speaking community was awesome. I wish I could make this presentation in Spanish, but I think I'm already getting close to my time, and I'm barely able to fill it with everything I wanted to say in English, right? So um, if there's another opportunity, I'd love to give this in Spanish. But those are the three things that really, or the idea, the points that really make who I am is I love education. I love helping first generation college students, Spanish speaking households, and just overall, investing in the community, really trying to help with the community and overall, because education really helps build up a community. When a company's thinking about going to a town or a city, they one of the things that they look at is what type of people live there. Is it people that have certain level of education, only high school or less than high school, or college, or beyond BA, masters, and it really impacts how the jobs are going to be in that area, right? So your education not only will help you, but it'll help your community. Keep that in mind. Last is on, if I had the teen version of myself, what would I tell them? I would tell them a whole lot, because I learned a lot in the last 25 years since I've been a teenager, right? So in the last 25 years, if I could rewind back to when I was 13 or 14 through 18, I would say a few things. I would say learn how to read, and learn how to just be able to read and fit it into your daily life. College is going to ask you to read a lot, and it doesn't mean, even if you go to a certificate program, like in police, if you go to the police academy, if you want to be law enforcement, you're going to have to read the whole penal code, which is the laws and everything. If you go to beauty school, you're going to need to know the rules and regulations to all the chemicals that you use. Nowadays, for every job, even if you want to work at fast food, you have to read the safety manual for the fast food restaurant. So reading is going to be something that's going to follow you for the rest of your life. So grow to accept it, and learn how you read best. Is it reading in 15-minute intervals, or is it reading for an hour or two at a time? Or is it reading on something with bigger letters? There's a lot to reading, and you have to figure out what is best for you, which will make you comfortable to make reading part of your life. I'd say build networks, start meeting people, meet professors, people that work in the industry, people in the community, people that work in the area that you want to get into, because it does help a lot as you're figuring out what you're gonna do when you graduate, or what you're gonna do just to even get into college, right? Just being able to network with people really helps. I mentioned find a mentor. I told you about that earlier, but really find those people that you could go to ask for help. Some people I know, their mentor was a high school teacher. Other people, their mentor was their first boss graduating from college. A mentor could be, and you could have different mentors at different stages in your life, but just try to find those people that will help you get to where you want to be at. Avoid, the mentors that, or the people that would be negative. You want people positive that are going to help you keep positive. Learn to explore. Open your mind. I never left California. I went to Mexico like every summer, but beyond that, I never left California until I worked for UC Merced. I worked for UC Merced for a number of years, and I got a chance to go out of state for a lot of programs that we did to connect with students out of state, and got a chance to learn how the rest of the country worked. I just really encourage you to just get out of your comfort zone. Sometimes in college there's programs where you could go study abroad, go study in another country for a semester, a year. Try it out. It's going to be the only time in your life that you'll have this opportunity. So really, explore that. And Also, I'd say set goals. Set your short-term, long-term goals, and write them down. I'm a very visual person, so and I have post-its everywhere. If you can see my desk right now, I have post-its everywhere of things that I need to remember. And your goals are going to be something that you should be remembering, right? So set those goals there, and just be able to see them every day so that you could focus. So I really went over my time, but and if you have any questions, I'll leave my contact information, and we'll try to reconnect some other time. But if you're going to come to Porterville College, make sure you stop by my office and say hi and say, hey, I saw you on that Zoom call. All right, take care. Hasta luego.